Students, I'm sorry for the delay. Please take out your 7.5. Echelon will only stamp it if you have your heading on it. And if it's complete, start from the back, go to the front.
It's a 42. Yeah, it's a 42.
I think it's 41.
I think it's 42.
36, 42. Please don't try to leverage Esteban's niceness. I'm saying, it's a pro.
Wasn't a question, but we just had to
Natalie, you have two choices. The seat which Anna is in, because you're in her seat, so you can sit the girl behind you. You got to switch left. I don't care. Or Natalie, you can take the one in front of Gabe right there. Those are the only two that are open. The one behind you and the one in front of you on the right.
Can I have that one and then
Great. Caroline Stoll. Gavin Cohen. You'll need your 7.3. You'll probably need 7.4. And we may be starting extra notes if you have space available after 7.4 stuff. Anna, speak clearly if you want to switch to that seat for good or if this is just a one-day thing. And in that one? So Natalie, are you cool with using the one that you're in now for your permanent seat? Yeah. That's great. Ian, you got a problem with having Anna close like that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of slow.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to say that. Okay. Now it's for real. Am I on the screen up there?
Yes, sir.
And yesterday, where did we leave off? Did we talk about this stuff?
Yeah. You showed us that picture.
Yeah. No, I know.
Was that your dream?
No, you weren't.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it went from a nightmare to
All right. So now me. At the end of assignment 7.3, I might have told you that there's a thing called the Keystone Pipeline.
Yeah.
And remember that the struggle is not about the pipeline itself, but about whether or not we will create an industry for this type of petroleum. I don't know if I gave you numbers yesterday, and I encouraged someone to do some research for the Facebook group. I'd love to see some comparisons on the water pollution, terrestrial pollution, and air pollution for oil sand versus other petroleum. By every measure I have found so far, oil sand produces the most terrestrial pollution, the most water pollution, the most air pollution, and takes the most energy to make it of any of our petroleum choices. This is simultaneously the most expensive energy, the most carbon-intensive energy, the most polluting energy. And so this is why a lot of politicians are getting really uppity about whether or not we get the pipeline. Some people are putting everything they've got into stopping the pipeline as a way to say, no, this is too expensive as a petroleum source. All right. If there's nothing left on 7.3, I move on. But did we have anything left in this assignment? We talked about the 12 problems of extracting petroleum and natural gas. We're all set? Then let's get into assignment 7.4. Quick question. Since we're ahead, maybe you'll indulge me one personal question. You guys realize that I'm old, and some things are really obviously outdated. There are words that I used when I was your age that I know are now extinct. But when I say clutch, is that an old person thing? Is that not much in slang?
Yeah.
Critical, like clutch, like wow, right when you needed it. Got it.
So that's why it strikes me.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. But here we go. This is a clutch concept, as in I mean to say a very important one, a critical one. A critical concept for you. Please take my explanation with a grain of salt. I am not a qualified physics teacher. Lucky for you, our school has them and they're very good. They're smart. They have big brains. They've been educated. They went to college. You may know Jose's not that smart, and my little bitty brain is split between my family obligations and my next climbing trip and my fantasies of whiskey and women. So not very much brain power when it's really necessary. I'll do my best. There's this thing called induction where you move a magnet past a wire and it creates a current in the wire. Some of you may have heard of the left-hand rule, magnet, current. There's also a right-hand rule about how the electricity traveling through the wire creates magnetic fields. You may also know that if I have the same magnet moving past 4 wires, it'll make 4 units of electricity. Every time it moves past the wire, it adds a current to that wire. So here's an even neater one. If I move the magnet past a coil, every time it goes over the wire, it adds more and more and more current to the same wire. So look, having passed the wire 4 times, it's made quadruple the electrical current. And so you can imagine a lot of coils and a lot of magnets makes a lot of electricity.
I got a question. In that diagram you showed, it looked like you were passing over a single piece of the wire, not all 4 coils. Do you just pass over a single piece, then it goes into a coil?
Like this. Magnet, wire, watch. You might see a little tiny flicker of blue. That's because that maximum output of electricity, I actually am able to activate the light. There's no batteries and no plugs for this. I can also go that way, but it's not fast enough. So there you go. I have made electricity right here on the spot while we're all chilling. I'm making electricity. Now that's actually taking a lot of work from Jose. Technically, I'm using a whole bunch of Jose energy to overcome the resistance of that magnet repelling past the wires at a given time. But anyway, look, we made electricity. So, all electricity on the planet is finding a way to do this. Spin a magnet past the wire, or spin the wire past the magnet. Yeah.
Charlie give you that?
Maybe she did.
You did that.
Oh, how cute. Yeah, it must have been her. How cute. Whether you use wind, and by the way, small ones like this are totally passe. In the future, we're going to make really big ones. You can get very good jobs being these guys. My friends Chad Shepard and David Alfrey pay for luxurious dirt bag travel. So they have like nice trucks that they can live in. And they spend whole seasons climbing, and then they occasionally will bail out and go work in North Dakota or the Mediterranean or China, doing this really fancy rope access technician work. Like today, this is one of the only things you can do to get a certificate that will get you a job that will lead you to a career. Kind of crazy. There's not that many jobs you can actually like go to school for to go get the job, but this is one of them, so I should know. Anyway, the thing about wind turbines is we figured out that you can make bigger magnets spin in larger bundles of wire if you just make bigger and bigger and bigger turbines. So these are some of the world's largest. In your lifetime, they will keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. If you guys want to go be well-paid engineers, you're trying to figure out how to make the plastics and the metals work together so you can make bigger blades on bigger towers. Of course, you can also use water, like inside this dam, or water like using a current at the bottom of the ocean to spin a turbine. You can use steam to spin a turbine, the water that's trapped behind a well, behind a dam. So when you see these columns, those tubes accept the water, shoot it to the bottom of the dam, where the water goes in and spins the turbine, this part, and that's connected by a drive shaft to the magnet wire interface. These are the generators, these are the turbines. When you see a place like this, each of those smokestacks is from a heat source, so you've got at least 9 heat sources, making at least 9 things of steam, making at least 9 turbines spin around. And if you look down here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 or something, little clusters of wires that are shipping out to all of these transformers to get all the electricity in line to shoot out into the power lines. I want to remind you that now that we're starting 7.4, we will get into alternate energy, but all alternatives are basically a way to spin that turbine, all of them, with just one exception, number 29. Simple.
Or figuring out more efficient way
So here goes. I think it's only fair to warn you that between number 29 and 35, I have this many notes. I've got like pages and diagrams and stuff, and I plan to make drawings and notes for each of these study goals. It's going to take me a few days to do this assignment. It's only fair to warn you that most students take pages of notes. Just thought you might want to know that. All right. When we talk solar power, we have to make a lot of distinctions. Solar power is not a single type of energy source, and by the way, there are very different types of solar power. It's like saying transportation.